Hello again. So Rwanda has joined a handful of African countries to ban skin lightening and bleaching products. It couldn't come any sooner. The billion-dollar industry thrives without restriction in most African states. According to the World Health Organization, chemicals in the products can cause liver damage, reduce resistance to bacterial infections, and increase anxiety and depression. To talk more on this, I'm joined in studio by two entrepreneurs who are championing the skincare products range for Black South Africans. Founder of Corium Skincare, Vuyi Zondi, and founder of Also African Dermal Science, Dr. Theo Motwa Frendo. Welcome to you, ladies. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Dr. Theo, let me start with you. You know, when we talk about skin lightening problems, skin lightening products, it's still a problem. When we were growing up and you'd go to town, you would see people selling them even on the streets, and it was so cheap and so accessible to get. Why are they so dangerous?
I think the skin lightening products, most of which you find in the streets in unregulated retail areas, they're mostly imported to South Africa, and are not adhering to the strictest policies that actually South Africa has. South Africa has two ingredients that have been banned in the use of cosmetic products. That is mercury as well as hydroquinone. Then you find that most important products actually don't adhere to those policies and therefore include those two harmful ingredients. I think as well the regulations around the importing and the retail of these harmful products has to be looked into. I think in mainstream retail that is not a major issue, but in the irregulated markets that is a key issue.
Yeah, and to understand why it's still thriving in that market, we need to understand what it is that we think about ourselves and how you see yourself. Vuyi, how big a problem is colorism and people seeing themselves to be a bit darker and you're like, if only I can just be a shade lighter, Nyana?
So I think it is still a big problem. And like we say, the skin lightening part of the skincare sector continues to thrive because of colorism. So the why do women want to use these skin lightening products? It's because of self-esteem, self-image and self-value problems, and also just societal pressure to conform to some sort of an idealistic beauty standard. So it's proximity to whiteness or imperialism or westernized ideals of beauty that drive that, psychological thinking that I need to be light-skinned, I need to have a narrow nose, I need to be a certain way to be considered beautiful, So it's more addressing, I think, the psychological parts of it that we need to look at as a skincare sector in South Africa to say, okay, we know that this black market exists, and it's not shrinking. So why is that, And what are some of the positive messaging and things that we can do as skincare brands, as skincare entrepreneurs to sort of reinforce the idea that your skin color is beautiful. You don't have to be light or fair to be considered as a beautiful person.
Absolutely. Dr. Uso, we go from using sunlight, and some people for sunlight it works on the skin, or some people just use water, but you have a skincare range. Talk to us about it and the products that actually go into making that range.
So the product range Uso by African Dermal Science is what we refer to as an advanced skincare range. It's an anti-aging range where we have, it's classified as a cosmeceutical. So it's not just a cosmetic, it actually has medicinal properties, to aid in hydrating the skin, to aid in slowing down the process of aging, as well as to even out the skin tone. So with regards to evening out the skin tone, that is one of the major challenges that us as African women have, and that's actually one of the reasons people resort to using unregulated skin lightening products. So what we have done is that we have done research over the past 3 and 4 years and looked at ingredients that can address uneven skin tone without lightening a person, so you won't get lighter than what your natural complexion should be, and that's, I think, the ideal mental and social perception that we should have as African women, that our natural skincare, our natural complexions are beautiful in the various shades, and we should look out for products that can address our concerns without changing our natural
Absolutely.
complexion.
How do you answer to that old adage, black don't crack? So when you talk about anti-aging creams,
so with the absolutely black don't crack, and that phrase actually comes from the natural protection that the melanin, our rich melanin skin, provides for us. So it actually protects us from sun damage, which is the #1 cause of aging. So that's why we say black don't crack, because of that natural protection. But having said that, it's also important to protect our skin from sun damage, because the melanin doesn't do 100% of the job. And so it's also important that as Africans that we also put sun protection lotion to protect us from UVA and UVB lights. So that's one of the things that we are at USO advocating, is the increased use of sunscreen. And we know that one of the deterrents for African women to put sunscreen on is that it usually makes us look like ghosts, gives us this greyish hue, and so that's one of the issues that at USO we're trying to address by having products that have sun protection without making us look like ghosts.
Yeah, and Vuyo, the issue of affordability is quite big. I took a look at some of your prices, and it's quite affordable. Why was it so important to make sure that these products are accessible to people as well?
So I think accessibility is important, especially I think as we want to be relatable, I think. And for us to gain that relatability in the market, we need to be accessible to our consumers, and that comes to the price point, especially because natural skincare or natural ingredients are not well understood. So we need to incentivize the switch over or the curiosity. And price is one of the things we play around with to say, we can't come in too high, because we're also still trying to educate you in terms of what is natural skincare and what is different about it. So we use that as an incentive, as a pull factor for you to be able to actually, pique your curiosity about it, around it, rather.
And let's talk about the products that you actually make and what goes into it in terms of ingredients.
So in terms of Corium Skincare, we say Corium is a natural skincare brand, and that's in line with there's no regulation as such, but definitions. So the formulation of the product is more than 50% natural. We try to go up to 90%, which is where you get your organic certified. So if 90% of your formulation is natural products, you can become organic certified. And Corium really relies on traditional beauty practices. So we've said we want to look at the beauty practices of West Africa. So they're quite big on your African black soap, your shea butter-based type of products. And we said we want to revisit those things that have lasted for centuries, if not millenniums, and see what is working in that, what can we adapt and put into our products, and to continue that traditional beauty practice.
Where do we find your products, ladies, Dr. Uso?
Yes. So we've actually just recently expanded our offering as a platform, and we are now available at selected Edgar's beauty stores nationwide, and you can consumers can go onto our website to see the list of stores.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. So Corium Skincare goes live on Zando this month. We also have an online store. We have a few physical stockists, but all our information is on the online store and the website.
You guys are the perfect advertisement. You've got amazing skin. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you so much
for coming through to chat to us. Corium Skincare founder Vuyi Zondi and USO African Dermal Science founder Dr. Theo Motwa Frendo. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies, this morning. Do stay with us here on Morning News Today. When we come back, we take you back to Moses Mabhida Stadium. My colleague Aldrin Sampier is standing by ahead of that manifesto launched by the ruling ANC.